Welcome to part 2 of this episode, Smart Maintenance, How Artificial Intelligence Elevates Predictive Strategies. We have as our guest today, Alex Hill from Siemens, and he's going to be talking about how artificial intelligence can enhance predictive maintenance for many plants in the process industries. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and listen to part 2.
Well, Alex, that's interesting. All those different types of data and the value of them all, and particularly the people data to go along with the machine and process data. You talked a little bit about use cases. What I'd like to do is get some more examples of some specific use cases that you've come across that end users might consider.
Yeah, broadly, I'd separate these into two categories of use case. One would be cost avoidance, and the other one would be cost savings. So cost avoidance is you are avoiding spending something, it's in the name, but you were never really planning on spending it anyway. You didn't want to spend it anyway. And that would be unplanned downtime avoidance. Nobody plans for unplanned downtime. It's in the name again, but it happens and it costs a lot of money. And so if you can reduce that, that's brilliant. You're reducing the amount of outgoings that you didn't want to be spending. Then you look into this really interesting and arguably more mature area of cost savings. And these are harder and take longer to service. And these are maintenance efficiency savings and maintenance spend reduction. So quite simply, if you can spend less in one area than you did previously, we'd call that a win. And we've shown, and there are so many now public case studies, that this kind of technology and this methodology absolutely works. And you can save up to 50% of your unplanned downtime can be reduced by, and there are public case studies on that. And there are similarly public case studies on improving your maintenance efficiency or reducing your maintenance spend by about 20 to 30% within the organization. And that's absolutely massive. And again, much harder to measure, but actually really, really important amongst customers now, is we find this whole angle of knowledge capture, retention, and replay is absolutely crucial. Sadly, maintenance is still a subject, still an area with a lot of image problems. And so there aren't as many new talent coming into maintenance as everybody would like to see. It's quite simply, it's not a very sexy topic at the moment. But there are tons of really cool new technologies and cool things to be done with it. And whilst that's being solved, hopefully, by some smart people in the education sector, we're trying to solve it, again, by using generative AI to try to learn everything we can from what people are doing within the application. So we're learning their preferences, we're learning what they liked, what they didn't like, how they used it, so that we can help other users, give them a richer experience, give them more interesting information, give them more prescriptive knowledge trained on your actual maintenance actions in the past, as well as things like the maintenance manual for the machine, any photos or documents or videos that your colleagues have sent you. Just all of this information that could be relevant to it. And that's super cool when you're improving things like the knowledge retention of an organization. And we've already talked about the sustainability angle, but I don't want to underemphasize how crucial that can be.
Yeah, and I really like the retention angle because that's obviously one of the big challenges that everybody's having these days. How do you retain knowledge from employees, especially ones that are close to retiring, right? And how do you make sure that that is carried over so that the new employees can start right away where they took off, right? So that's very interesting. I really like how you talked about that. Now, in this podcast, we are not just touching on all the good stuff when it comes to the use cases that we are typically talking about. We are also looking at some of the little bit more challenging things around implementation, execution, getting people involved. What are some of the challenges, the key challenges in integrating artificial intelligence with existing maintenance infrastructure, for instance? Very curious to hear what you have to say about that.
I wish I could say we never have any problems, everything goes brilliantly, and it's smooth sailing. And that would be an absolute lie. We've had every kind of problem that you can imagine.
Well, thanks for being honest, right?
Yeah, no, it's we found it's much better to be open about these things. But when we come to these kinds of deployments, we designed our product. We wanted this whole predictive maintenance area to be so simple. Click something, type in your credit card details, and away you go. You can be successful in minutes. And unfortunately, technology just isn't there yet. People don't have this kind of data captured. If they do, it's in the wrong way, in the wrong format, or not good enough. But there's still, unfortunately, quite a consultative element to leading people along this journey. If they do have data prepared and they're already doing some form of analysis, that's awesome and can really be so helpful because they've already done some of the mind work internally to understand how to benefit from this or some of the challenges that are involved. So it's a normal IT project is difficult. There's cases and history of that everywhere. You can look up failures as much as you want. Then when you get into manufacturing, you now have to deal with the OT network. So often completely isolated. A lot of this technology has been working in the cloud. So how are you getting data from the OT network to the IT network to somewhere in the cloud that can be reliable? That can be challenging. The main challenges we see really are that every infrastructure is different. Yes, they might use similar products, but actually those products will be configured completely differently. And the company's policies around the use of data with those products, again, will be completely different. So whilst we have a single approach and a single solution, in reality, some of the wire work to join things together at the organizational level does need some really careful attention. And I think that careful attention point is something I want to labor on a bit more. The technology to do this is really difficult. I don't want to pretend it's not. It's taken us over 10 years to get to where we are right now. And there's still a lot to be done. But really the main challenge, and actually I'd argue this with almost anything, the main challenge is people. So culture, beliefs, biases. If we just give people the technology, it's not effective by itself. It's not well known enough. It's not ubiquitous enough like a firewall to be fully understood by everyone whose hand it ends up being placed. And so any software, any solution that talks about predictive maintenance right now, my opinion is it can't just be an analytics product. It has to be training and methodology, online knowledge platform, workshops, hand-holding, even going as far as maybe drafting foundational reports and processes for client organizations, because you're talking about doing things in a completely different manner. And maintenance people alone are very time constrained. They're always under pressure. And now you're asking them to do something different in a different way. And if you don't teach them and guide them and sometimes just grab their hand and take them on this journey, it will be a failure.
We're going to have a brief interruption to mention a webinar that's coming up on July 11th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It's called Navigating the Digital Workforce: 4 Strategies for Success in the Age of Technology. We will have Stephen Moskowitz from Industry Forward and Matthias Oppold from Siemens talking about how to navigate the workforce of the future. So make sure to take a look at the show notes to find the registration link.
So Alex, a lot to be gained from the use of this type of technology, and also a lot of challenges. And you discussed a little bit about mitigating or addressing some of those challenges. One of the things we like to cover for our listeners is how the heck do you get started? So what would be some first steps you'd recommend to somebody that's trying to start going down this path?
I'd say some really interesting approaches. One that keeps sticking in my mind is we've had people come to us after they've had a nice conversation with ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot. And it's actually said, hey, come and check out these companies. And that's a really good way to start. Talk about your problems to this kind of technology. Use AI to solve the problem of how you're going to use AI. And talk to people, share experiences, learn about things. There's now enough information out there that you can download public case studies. And there's lots of companies that have those. And you can just start to inform yourself and talk with people. And come and talk to me. We'll guide you. We'll make sure that there's a condition monitoring expert who'll hold your hand. And it's really important to focus on the business outcomes in predictive maintenance. It's not a science project. This is not an innovation area anymore. This is something that has provable, demonstrable business outcomes And there are public case studies with that can be found. And I'd advise talking to people about that and making sure that when you have a project like this in mind, you're not just thinking about the sensors, you're thinking about what it will mean to your business and how it can improve efficiency. Just think bigger. It's probably my main advice.
You covered a lot of ground today and really appreciate you sharing your knowledge. And if you could wrap up, what are some key takeaways you'd want to leave with our listeners?
I'm going to labor again on business outcomes. That's really what the industrial IoT is about. Yeah, we like talking about technology. That's pretty cool. But ultimately, we're doing this because we're all in business. We want to show improvements in something. And in order to achieve those business outcomes, yes, the technology is really important. And there's some awesome technology out there right now. But culture is as important, if not more so. And with all the technology and good feeling in the world, you will not achieve business outcomes if the culture, if the learning, if the hand-holding to get there isn't correct. And so I'd really recommend think large as well. You will not achieve a good business outcome if you look at only 5 or 10 critical machines. You can start there. You can prove to yourself that, okay, this is good. I'm comfortable. I like the partner. We're working well together. But you can achieve massive savings across the enterprise if you look at every single machine that is in production, or maybe even just working in your facilities, just anything that your organization uses. The technology and the methodologies are now there to monitor absolutely everything in real time and save you money. It is a no-brainer.
What a great conversation, Alex, and what excellent points you made about some of the opportunities and challenges that you see with using artificial intelligence and predictive maintenance, and also how it can ultimately benefit the process industries in reducing downtime, for instance, minimizing cost, reducing cost, avoiding cost, as you mentioned it, and ultimately also increasing throughput. Those are all benefits that should make any company explore AI in predictive maintenance. Full stop. So thank you very much for being here, Alex. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. And I've really enjoyed the questions, Jonas and Don. It's been a fun chat.
So with that, we're at the end of the episode. If you have any questions about any of the topics we discussed today, please feel free to email Alex directly. We will include his email address in the show notes. And as usual, Don and I are always open to your comments, your thoughts, your feedback on the show, on the topics. And you can also find our contact information in the show notes. We'd love to hear from you. If you liked what you heard today, please help spread the word by rating the show. And of course, if you're not already a subscriber and would like to be notified when new episodes are released, please subscribe to the series. Thank you for listening to this episode of Digitalization Tech Talks.